Good evening and welcome to the 29th annual Southern Fried Poetry Slam. I am your host for this evening. Of course, we are back this year with our virtual edition. At SoFried, we believe that Black lives matter. We support and believe in the rights of our LGBTQ community, and we believe every person should have equal access in their living their best lives physically, spiritually, and artistically. We encourage you to be respectful of everyone's identity and remember that every person on this stage has equal value. At Southern Fried, we judge poems, not people. Tonight, you will see 4 teams of poets and up to 3 independent poets from the Southeast region. This evening, we will have 1 indie poet, and they are all competing for a chance to go on to final stage this Saturday afternoon to compete for indies and Saturday night for the teams. If you are present in the Zoom bout, please make sure your mics, mute your mics and turn your cameras off when you are not performing. Judges, we ask that your camera remain on during the poems. This bout is attended by poets who are logging in from around the world. So please give their poetry your love and undivided attention. In a poetry slam, there is no music, there are no costumes or props, and each poet will be performing original work. Poems may be up to 3 minutes long, but after a 10-second grace period, the performer loses points for going over time. You may see groups of poets performing team pieces. This is normal and encouraged. We have pre-selected judges this year, and they are we have judge number 1, judge number 2, judge number 3, judge number 4, and judge number 5. They are not affiliated with the poets performing tonight, but we are excited to find out what they think. These judges are our poetry experts tonight, but feel free to use the chat to let the judges know whether you agree with them or not. You can also use the reaction buttons to show support for the poem. If you are joining us via live stream, leave us comments, use your emojis. Feel free to interact with us on social media and share with your friends. Judges, don't let the audience sway you. Tonight, you are the experts. If you like the poetry you hear tonight, we will post their contact information so that you can purchase their merchandise. SoFried merchandise is available on our website, and tickets to final stage can be purchased through Eventbrite. We would love to have you join us at these poet battles for the 2021 championship. Before we get to the slam, we need to have a calibration poem. This poet is not a part of the competition, but will be judged just the same. Judges, you may use this poet score as your baseline of reference for the poems you will judge during the bout. Please welcome this bout Sacrificial poet to the mic. This evening, we will have Cuban as our Sacrificial poet. Our first team following Cuban will be Sandstorm. And on deck, we will have Pirro Slam. Give it up for Cuban.
When death comes, I'm gonna be like, fuck! We going right now. No matter how much time I've used, I'll still be stalling like Joseph. Still making deals to loiter a bit longer, like the lines of poetry that won't leave until written into existence. I'll be like, cool, 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 cool. Now take off running or throw a punch or a tantrum. I'll be like, hold up, I just need to finish this one thing. I just gotta call this one person. I just gotta make sure they remember that moment that changed everything in my life. I gotta mark every pitfall and roadmap my happiness so that all who come after know why and how I smiled so often. When death comes, I'm gonna make it coffee. I'm gonna make it a sandwich. I'm gonna make it wait and wait and wait and wait for every time I said today or right now, taking my life into my hands like a crumpled Bible, taking myself out to dinner like a last meal. Maybe I'll do some devil went down to Georgia type shit. Cook you a meal to make your tongue want to resurrect, the type of food that'll make death even say, let him stay for a little longer. When death comes, honestly, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this is how I go. And I'll go because I want to. With my ancestors holding open every door, I don't think I'll feel undone. After spending a lifetime in love with everyone, when death comes, I'm sure it'll be my mom. It won't feel like I'm gone, just finally welcomed home. And all I'll be is poetry, and all I'll know are poems.
All right, judges, that was our sacrificial poet. So this is the poet that's going to give you an example of how the bout is going to go tonight. All right, so we're going to have our scores from low to high. If judges, if you'll drop your scores in the chat. All right, I see 1 score. I see 2 scores. I got 3. Give me 4. I need 1 more score. All right, judge 5. All right, let's see. We have a 9. I'm sorry, we have an 8. Then I see a 9.9. I'm sorry. We have an 8, a 9.8, a 9.9, a 10, and a 10. All right. The poet's final score is a 29.7. Give it up for the sacrificial poet Cuban. All right, Sandstorm, who are you sending up? Sandstorm is sending up a group piece.
Excuse me, I need to be spotlit as well. 5 members.
Which name is that? Sorry.
Paul D.
You need to turn on your video.
It's on. Thank you.
This is Denise. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hakeem Komet checking in.
Yep.
Paul D, can you hear me?
Got ya.
Do you feel a little overwhelmed about the whole Palestinian-Israeli conflict? We at Remember to Forget Productions feel that society needs a little escape from it all, a way to forget it all. We appreciate your network's creative board for allowing us to pitch a few show ideas.
So let's get right into it. Think Lucifer, you know how they beautified the devil in that one TV series, gave the main character a magnetic personality, 6-pack, and chiseled chin.
All right, now picture this. We'll call her Israel Lorraine. Israel for short, works in real estate, books some blonde, a kleptomaniac, and known all over town to give that iron zone.
Wait. Let's make it relatable, though. Give her irritable bowel syndrome. She'll slam the bathroom stall. We'll hear the sound of bubble guts. She'll drop a bomb. And then we zoom in on the door sign that reads occupied.
Think of 10 commandments, but instead of wandering through the desert like Heston and crew, they run through Sheikh Jarrah and Silwan, grabbing up whole blocks and generations, getting the city to draft papers, claiming that it has always belonged to them.
Nah, wait, that might be too much. Okay. How about storage wars, but instead we'll call it proxy wars, like where a superpower creates its own colony, but gives it sovereignty so it can destabilize a whole region while still holding on to plausible deniability. We could make it like a geopolitical docudrama. Call it, look, Ma, no bloody hands.
Okay, hold up, guys. How about a Breaking Bad of sorts? Let me present to you breaking in to houses that don't belong to you. Forget crystal meth. Let's use something a bit more gnarly, like white phosphorus pushed onto society.
It's gonna be the bomb, like literally bigger and more blockbuster than a Michael Bay movie, except with real blockades and real busted.
Nah. Check it. We always see things from the Rebels' perspective, but the Star Wars universe is hectic. The Empire should be respected.
They have a right to defend themselves against rebel scum. Let's portray the more sympathetic side of the empirical might.
I mean, we are the Republic, right?
Now, some folk might be inclined to choke at the image of a headshot on a child through a sniper's scope, but all that hesitation abates when we clearly show the same kid throwing stones.
We could make Gaza look like Alderaan.
Episode 10, The Empire Strikes Last.
And in this version, there's no Luke Skywalker to save them.
No big moment where the ragtag group comes together, just total annihilation. And from the ashes rises the final sovereign nation.
And remember to forget productions.
We will remind each other to dismiss the fact that
sometimes, in order to keep your freedom,
you have to be okay with oppressing others.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're all about showing love tonight. Give it up for Sandstorm and their group piece. Come on, let's give some love for them. Give them some love. All right, judges, we know what to do. Let's see those scores. Let's drop those scores in the chat. Let's see what we have. I see one score. That's what I like to see. I see the applause. All right, I have 2 scores. I see 3 and 4. One more score. All right. All right, from low to high, we have a 9. We have another 9. We have a 9.6. We have a 9.9. And we have a 10 for Sandstorm and their group piece. Give it up for them. Give it up for them. All right, next up, we have Pirro Slam with the group piece. All right. Remember, guys, when you check in, make sure that you check your mics. All right, Pirro.
Can you hear us?
Yep, go ahead.
I ain't answering no more calls. I'm gonna go stay in the bathroom stall. Customers pissing me off all day, asking me questions above my pay grade, like, why do I have to pay my bills on this date? I don't make the rules. I wish I could stay, but I just smile and lean my head back, roll my eyes and get the manager for that. Working in call centers for the past 3 years. 4 years. We've learned a couple of things about patience. Imagine perverted kindness buzzing through a headset. Being femme in a field of white-collar policy feels more like target practice than mission statement. We are mostly painted expressions with corporate answers for personal questions. Like my trainer told me to smile when I give bad news because you can tell the difference. My coach said, try to be more empathetic. It lets them know you care. Well, I hope my eye rolls shout through your ear. Hear us, wrap our tongues around teeth, and bleed in silence. I ain't answering no more calls. I just got called a bitch because this man owes us money. Like, nigga, pay your shit or get disconnected. I know your home address, so please don't test my patience.
But I just smile and lean my head back, roll my eyes and get the manager for that.
Ma'am, I understand you're disgruntled, but I want to be clear on what I said. I didn't mumble or stutter.
I'm so sorry, sir. Your phone cut out when you started yelling. Could you start back at the beginning for me, please? We've said sorry so much, we don't even know what it means anymore. I have desensitized every interaction in my life.
My loved ones still on hold.
My personal life be escalation calls for no reason.
Be spilling teeth from lips.
Shoving feet into esophagus. Still we stay your customer service servants because the calls will always be rolling in.
And so will these bills.
I ain't answering no more calls because all the white women got concerns like it's their job. Why can't the store be in a nicer neighborhood? I don't know, bitch. Gentrification, but I just smile, lean my head back, roll my eyes and get the manager for that. And I guess I am sorry for putting you on hold to hit my bong.
And I'm sorry I unplugged my computer mid-sent.
I'm sorry you're having such a shitty day. And I'm sorry for the bad energy that has found your voice, but I'm not sorry you feel bad for making me your punching bag.
And I'm not sorry that belittling people is how you communicate.
Because the calls will roll in for everyone. We've just mastered the art of maneuvering them. Now, is there anything else we can assist you with? No? Have an excellent day.
Give it up for Pirro Slam and their groupies. Shouts out to the judges, because I see you guys are hella attentive. You guys are all, I see all of it. That's what you want to see as artists. You don't want to see anybody fiddling around on their phone. Judges, you are on your job. Let's see those scores. Let's see how on your job you are. Let's see those scores. All right, I see 1 score and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, and 1 more. Let's see. I see Judge 5, Judge 4, 3, Judge 2. All right, there we are. From low to high, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.5. We have another 9.5, a 9.8, and a 10. All right, giving them a total score of a 28.8. All right, next up we have Verbenders, sending up Maddie G.
Hello, can you hear me?
Good to go.
They say there's a thin line between love and hate. In my case, there was always a mirror. I can't remember the first time I fell in hate with self, but the explanations given by my brain have been engraved on my body as a reminder of how it felt and how it sometimes feels. As I trace the scars, the memories are so real of the times that I looked from the outside, watching my actions as they made my reflection cry. Tears have become an acknowledgement of my distorted truth and my deformed self. Because in the midst of my despair, I found comfort in the caress of a blade. It would slide down my leg as if my thigh was plump with secrets it was never supposed to tell. Every cut let out 1,000 please help me's muffled by my grip. The warmth in between my fingers felt more like tears from screaming wounds, and it gave me a physical reason to hurt. But in the end, it was just an affirmation that cutting alone could not satisfy this pain that I carried inside myself. So I chose not to eat. The hunger pains became a proclamation of power. Power no one else could give me or take, power only I possessed. Fueled by daily reminders that somehow calories were equivalent to hate. Because the thinner I look, the more likes I will get. But I couldn't win this battle against myself. So I will eat enough food to feed each moment of hate with its own plate, until my body felt the natural urge to purge, to reclaim the hollow feeling, the empty space, this empty love that I felt for myself. But when my body will not react on its own, my finger in autopilot, reaching from my thoughts, finding my regret, trying to undo the moment of weakness, rewind the full mistake, or at least give me back the hunger that made me feel empowered. But less, it was so hard to explain. Because I love me, but her in the mirror, she was hate, mortification of the flesh, this constant punishment that I deserve, as if I could bleed this pain of my body, as if I could starve it away, as if I could throw up all these feelings, as if I could beat this fury out of my chest. This constant loathing was the reason why her and I could not be the same. So many times I fantasized of parting with this pain. So finally pills gave hope to the me I felt. Sliding down the walls of my esophagus was this end that I thought I craved. So I closed my eyes. I was done. I slept for what seemed like days, but even in my dreams, I wasn't ready to face the end, climbing up the ladder of life, because after I jumped, I wasn't ready to let go, so gasp! As the air entered my lungs, disoriented and afraid of being alone, I looked for her in the mirror, and she smiled with tears of hope. All this time, she was just begging me to love her, and today I'm thankful she never gave up on self-love. Thank you.
Give it up for Maddie G. I feel like that's like a rapper name. Like anything with a G after it, that's automatically like your rapper name. So me and Maddie, we're gonna have a battle rap one day. All right, judges, you know what to do. Let me see those scores. All right, I see 1 score and 2 and 3. All right, from low to high, we have a 9.1. A 9.4, a 9.8, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for Maddie G, giving her a final score of 29.2. All right, we have our final poem coming from the Big Dream Collective. They are sending up Ayana.
Testing, testing.
Good to go.
In this family, we always clean up before company arrives. Make sure the house is properly kept, the laundry folded, the linens fresh in this house. We're good at putting on a show, of making sure people don't see our mess, our mistakes, our stains. We're good at fixing, at refreshing, at filtering the flaws that only these walls have witnessed. How we good at putting things back where they belong. Like a child in a child's place when she wonder why that man keep coming in her room. We good at sweeping dirt under the rug, of cramming our skeletons into the closet, how we vacuum the stench of abuse from out these carpets and call it clean, spot-free, sparkle clean. And mama say, you better not leave those beds unmade. Better float them pillows like they knew. Like they ain't never been used to swallow these tears, like these sheets ain't full of conviction and comfort at the same time. You see, for a long time, Black families have been shushing Black children into secrets, shaming them from sharing what lurks in the shadows, like monsters, like molesters, like mommy's cousin, like daddy's demons. How we always chastise them kids for just being kids, but spare the family rapists that spoil the child. How reunions only reminders that what happens in this family stays in this family. How grandma's secret recipe has always been forgetfulness. Like she don't remember all them times grandpa became a magician. How he make a whole family from another woman's womb, but this family cleaned up nice. Care more about what others think than what the victims in this bloodline feel. How they quick to call Niecy a runaway. Never stop to think what it is she's running away from. How she would rather fold into herself than have uncle lay her out again. Her nephew would rather hang himself in a closet than to come out of it. And ain't trauma the family tradition. How we pass down this hurt like hand-me-down threads. How Sunday dinners ain't quite the same when you forced to break bread with your abuser. How we always call on the Lord, but forget to cast out those demons. In this family, we are a lineage of lost childhoods and stolen innocence. How we never talk about it even though we know it exists. How this family name alone holds a multitude of sins, but when guests arrive, When the doorbell rings, the lock undone, and the outsiders come in, you could swear on your low-down great-great-grandfather's grave that this family was perfect. Thank you.
Let's show some love from Ayana from Big Dream Collective. All right, every time I say that name, I don't know. I don't know if it's the abbreviation or just the BDC or what. It just sounds a little perverted. All right, judges. All right, I see one score. I see two scores. And 3 and 4. All right, from low to high, we have a 9.9. We have a 10. We have a 10. We have a 10, and we have a 10. Giving Ayana the final score of a 30. All right, guys. All right, so that's all of our poets and all of our teams from our first round. All right, so coming up in our second round in this order, we will have Pirro Slam. We will have Verbenders. We will have Big Dream Collective and Sandstorm. All right, so first up, we're going to be hearing from Mandy Lynn. Show her some love.
Can you hear me?
Pew, pew, pew.
You can hear me okay?
Spare and
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
spare the family rapist that spoiled the child.
Yes, we can hear you.
Spare the family rapist that spoiled the child. How reunions.
BDC, you need to mute.
Please mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My panties still smell like you. And I don't want to wash them, don't want to wear them for fear that they will forget who you are. Forget the feel of condensation that once dripped between our sacred spaces. When I press myself into your undressed flesh, painted deep strokes in the navy blue that comes just before sunrise. I don't want the lace-edged thong to be pushed to the side to forget how it felt to wake up next to you, even at 3 a.m. when I hit the snooze again and again and again because my body wanted to be here. To start with your lips while you're sleeping. With your eyes closed, I pretend you are kissing me back. Just feel me. Spilling honeycombs around the base of your neck as I move slowly, leaving trail of damp tongue down your left arm. I suck on your fingertips gently, gagging our dirty little secret to remind you, come find me, anticipating. I can tell by the way I see your hips shift, awaiting my lead. Your body is an ocean and I am deep sea diving. I do the backstroke under the cover. All I want is to French kiss you goodnight. I allow myself to drown in a mouthful of you. Resuscitate me, tug my hair, pull me up for air, then hold me close. I sit deep on you, inside me. We finished successfully. You'd hold me like you wanted to let go. I'd scrape your image off the popcorn ceiling, and that's when I realized you were not giving back. Forgotten me. Looking back, there was a bedroom littered with red flags, blankets of white lies, ghosted conversations, our love affair hidden between the candy wrappers underneath your bed. It still pisses me off to think that I had to be your secret. Embarrassed about what? I don't even know. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. I'd leave. And these panties that I bought for you are all I have left. My panties still smell like you. And I don't want to give them any more energy than you gave me when you held me all night, but could not give me the light of day. I don't want to wash them. I don't want to wear them. I want to fucking burn them.
All right, let's show some love for Mandy Lynn. All right, guys. So we're not in person. So we might be saying, what's showing some love look like? We can show a little love in the chat. That's one of the biggest things that we're missing from being in person, right? You know, all the good hugs, you know. I'm not a big hugger, but SoFried is different for me. I look for all the hugs and the kisses and all that good mushy stuff. So we can show a little love in the chat, right? All right, judges, you know what to do. Let's see it. Let's see it. All right, let's see what we have. Drop the scores. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We just need judge number 1. All right, we have an 8.5, an 8.8, a 9, 9.3, and a 9.5. All right, let's show some love for the poet, giving us a final score of 27.1. 27.1. Next up, we have from Verbenders, Cassandra is free.
Hello?
Good to go.
Pastor raised her in Sunday school on how to pray, how to seek God in all things. He even taught her how to turn the other cheek, spoke in tongues when he prayed for her so she knew her anointing was unique. I said the pastor spoke in tongues when he prayed on her, baptized her as she laid on her back. I can tell by the way she called on God that he was delivering her. But see, the church folk have an easier time saving him than forgiving her. He'll have an explanation. The devil made him do it. She'll have character defamation. She's the devil in a blue suit. It's the norm. He'll profess his sins with his mouth, give stout examples from the Bible of Samson and David, and how it's a shame that him falling into temptation should lead him to damnation. Get down on his knees again to orally repent from his sins. So now he's back in the pulpit preaching the same bullshit that he don't even practice. Because in the eyes of the church, he's redeemed. It's miraculous. Because see, the pastor pastors his pastures while the sheep get passed over, even during Passover. Shit, have a good laugh over it in the back with the deacons sneaking peekins at the teenage girls. They develop fast these days. They so fast now. So pastor lay his filthy hands on their ass now to pray for their salvation as he stands salivating and begins salutating, our Father, which art in heaven, but you can call me Daddy. Hallowed be thy name. Almost as hollow as my sinful soul. Thy kingdom come, and I'm about to. Thy will be done soon as I'm done with you on earth as it is in heaven. But that heathens, heavy breathing, sanctified demons called a semen holy oil, stand on holy soil, praising God, trying to comfort her with a staff and rod. Odd how men of God always know how to get away with murder. Cue the violas. Oh, the irony that he can both pray for her and pray for her, commune on her hymen. So his first time in, she's like, take, eat, this is my body broken for you. Baptized her as she laid on her back. I can tell by the way she called on God that he was delivering her, but ain't no forgiving her because the devil made him do it, and she's the devil in the blue suit. It's the norm, you see, because see, normally the church will sweep it under the rug. It's closed eyes and shoulder shrugs, like what happens behind closed doors is between him, her, and the Lord. Because I swear on the Bible, the church can't afford no more bad publicity. Ain't nobody tithing 10% for that type of toxicity. The church is a business. So they say it's none of our business what he does with his privates and private. As long as he's smart enough to hide it, he'll be back in the pulpit preaching the same bullshit that he don't even practice. Because in the eyes of the church, he's redeemed. It's miraculous.
All right, we love to see it. Cassandra is free. Getting free on the microphone. All right, judges, you know what to do. Drop those scores. Show some love for Cassandra is free. All right, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, one more. All right, from low to high, we have a 9.2. We have a 9.6, Another 9.6, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for the poet. All right, giving us a final score of 29.2. All right, and closing it out for that round from the BDC, we have Millie. Show the poet some love.
Mic check. Good to go.
So I start the day with a Red Bull and a cigarette, drafting Facebook statuses I will not post. My friends all think I've given up smoking because I have this crippling asthma. Really, all I found is a better brand of e-cigarette. And so the thought behind e-cigarettes is that they are somehow not bad for the lungs, but tell that to this cough this morning when I cannot catch my breath. I know the refusal to give up smoking is a sign I am functionally suicidal. Again, I should probably call my therapist or at least a doctor to prescribe an inhaler until this wave of depression passes. I think about my depression the same way atheists think about God. So not much, really, until a fanatic won't get out of their face. These days, my depression won't get out of my face. It's the elephant in every room I enter until I become my own circus. I would call myself the ringmaster if it weren't for this damn trapeze. I think about falling, hanging limp in the dark for days on end with no one to catch me, which I type into the status bar, but it reads too much like a cry for help. And isn't your partner on the trapeze just supposed to be there, even at 3 a.m. when it's me and the internet reading an article about popcorn lung, a condition from the chemicals in e-cigarettes that are also found in popcorn butter? I think of the movie they will make of my life. If I finally decide it's too hard to be here, my friends sitting in a crowded theater crying and chewing on popcorn. And isn't that a coincidence? And aren't those sorts of things beautiful? And aren't the beautiful things in life supposed to make you want to stay here? Being functionally suicidal means I still go to work, still go to church, drive too fast down the highway with the windows down, hoping the cold will settle in my throat, and then maybe pneumonia. Maybe I only take smoke breaks on days I know my inhaler is home on the dresser, or maybe I just stop calling my mother, the only woman who still prays for me, who believes a real encounter with God is the only way that depression passes. I think about my depression the same way fanatics think about God. So not much, really, until someone they love is about to die. She likes to post scriptures on Facebook before she sleeps and hope they swing to the top of my newsfeed at 3 a.m. when nothing else too positive comes down the line. Being functionally suicidal means I don't want to die. I'm just not all that invested in trying to stay here either. It's like my life is a C- film with ambiguous plotline and rising star that the studio hopes will do well, but isn't trying to get behind. It's like they know the only draw will be the surprise ending, a tragic fall, a snap trapeze in a 3-ring circus with no ringmaster, a mother waiting in the ticket line trying to bring a little God in. I think about my depression the same way I think about God, how it's the biggest thing in the room, even if no one sees it, whose existence is not predicated upon anyone's belief, but whether or not I bow to it feels like the only choice. Being functionally suicidal means each day is a choice, each day a fight, every day a victory, even if it feels like defeat. Thank you.
All right, guys, give Millie some love from BDC. Show the poet some love. All right, judges, you know what to do. Drop those scores in the chat. Drop those scores in the chat. I see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right. From low to high, we have a 9.7, another 9.7, 9.8, a 9.9, and a 10 for the poet. All right, giving her a final score of 29.4, 29.4. All right, we have our last poet of the round from Sandstorm. Give it up for Paul D. The mic is yours, poet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
When my sun was 350 degrees in the depths of my stove, I knew life would be no easy bake oven for him. I got the tiger clawed stretch marks to prove it. Can't no cocoa butter fade fate away. He came out feet first, nearly a breached birth, his hands tangled amongst the giant octopus of my umbilical cord. I had to pray him out of me, gave birth in bowing position. Can somebody tell the band to turn the music down, please? I'm talking about my only son right here. I mixed gunpowder with his Gerber mush carrots to help him tolerate the taste of the Inglewood projects he would one day bequeath. You know, I didn't want this funeral, you know, told everybody to keep their condolences and bereavement bouquets. I didn't want to see my son like this, but God told me to have it. Saw it all in a paper mache mausoleum dream, told me to piece what was left of his face together and open up this casket. Only a mother who has lost a son can inhale this smelling salt pain. And now I gotta sit here and hear the preacher talk about how it all gonna be better tomorrow. Well, all due respect, Reverend, but fuck tomorrow. Tomorrow won't bring my baby back, won't grow hands and wipe my tears away, won't massage my shoulders after all the family members have left the house. Hollow from there, that's a shame. And let us know if you need anything. You see, tomorrow is a house made of straw, but today is huffing and puffing me down. I want everybody watching all over the world right now from 13 to 25 years old to stand up. Any one of you could be hemmed up in this wooden box, and now they talking about they coming to shoot the funeral up. Well, tell that gang that's retaliating to make true on their threat and crash this sanctuary that has already been defiled. None of that nut-grabbing machismo stage play with pants melted to the linoleum floor. Waste no time. I want the youngest one with the deadliest weapon to come up in here and shoot me first. I'm the one they want. The one they killed came from my stove, my wound with rusted coil and sanguine tone. Unplug me and put me on the corner for some other family to use, because my baby is gone and goodbye has never felt so bad.
All right, judges, that was Paul D. from Sandstorm. What say ye? Drop the scores in the chat while we show the poet some love. Show some love. All right. I see 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 and 5. From low to high, we have a 9.5. We have a 9.9. We have a 10, and a 10 for the poet. All right, judges. So up next, we're going to hear from our indie poet of the evening. All right, let's give it up for Amanda. All yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, go ahead.
Los Angeles waltzes in its dark and quiet streets, the avenues, the boulevards, all of the freeways with my off-white heart. A cigarette in hand, her skin echoes midnight, one piano note at a time. These coal-painted lashes, they belong to sequined nights in the next morning. And lit by the moon, her perfume, a stranger choking on the smoke. Lying down, the moon slowly, fervently removes her clothes and tastes the air. Yet when I am statued, the beginning of color whispers you naked. A negative space almost fills my bare thighs. And there are some nights that never end. Waking to a pile of white t-shirts, an unnecessary goodbye. Still, the sex lingers. Gone, the flame lured me into obsidian. Now, newborn tears run down the uninhabited mountainside, and waiting for leftover light, I fold paper swans and lotus flowers and that little fortune teller thingy, a cootie catcher, if you will, obsessively, compulsively, searching for answers. They play hide and seek, though, a game I did not sign up for. A lover's quarrel is an adolescent desert after a rainstorm, and its light whispers into the curved lines of late afternoon when my lover returns. After our hiatus, apologies paint my tongue the taste of yesterday, and evening blows kisses across bed sheets hung from the line. The sun burns. It burns into twilight, and dried leaves roll through the empty dust. Breathing feels like rain. You brush my hair with a certain but unspoken contract. The two of us, we are still summer. Stars plucked from an absent sun become your eyes, and the space between breath promises all the day breaks. Almost visible, I am within my body, the moon whispers into my ear. And beneath this later light, a hunger burns the innocent skin until all is shed, and I have tasted you. This fading night's wind chimes into the morning's mapled vows, an arid baptism of sorts. And the pain of echoes dawns an imagined silence while I look for my rock. Thank you.
All right, that was Amanda, our indie poet for the evening. Show some love, show some love. All right, judges, we'll have those scores in the chat. While we love on Amanda, I see one score. And I apologize, that was a 29.9 from Paul D from from Sandstorm. All right, and Amanda from low to high. All right, let's see here. We have a 6. We have a 7.5. We have an 8.4, an 8.9, and a 9.4. All right, giving her a score of 24.8. And the time has come where I have to be the bad host and announce that we had a time penalty, that Amanda came in with a final time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So for clarification, is that 24.8? Is there? Okay. So 24.8 with time penalty, giving a final score of 24.3. Let's show Amanda some love. All right, so right now we're gonna have a short intermission. We're gonna have a short 5-minute break. So take some time, judges, take a bathroom break, take a water break, go let the dog out, do what you need to do, and we will see you back soon. And just like that, we are back from our short intermission. Hope you guys brought the dog back inside. All right, so we are going to kick it off with our second half of the bout in this order. First, we are going to hear from Verbenders. On deck, we will have BDC, followed by Sandstorm and Pirro Slam. First, we will be hearing from Verbenders. We have up Jeneme. I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. If not, I deeply apologize. Your mic is...
Mic check, gentlemen.
Good to go.
My father called me whistle because I couldn't. I was just spit and he was just laughing. So when I say, Daddy, I love you, I be like, one, Daddy. Two, loving you is like hugging sandpaper, hoping that your embrace of nature would fade and I would embrace smooth. Two, loving you hurts. Three, your word was God. Like, let there be. Three, grandma say God, love, the same. Three, grandma say God, love, interchange. Dad, I God you, but wish you were more like love. Dad, four, abusive breaths always smell like blasphemy. Four, neighbors next door, Helen Keller, say they can't see or hear to help me, but I know they hear my mama screaming. Five, abusive breaths rip my esophagus on the way down to upsetting my stomach. Five, choked down truths and thrown up hands are both signs of surrender. Five, I'm sorry, but I'm so sick of saying I'm sorry. Six, no, I don't think anything is funny. I'm just too scared to stop smiling. Six, on your darkest night, I learned to smear perfect smiles over my scars. Six, Daddy, you just crack me up. Six, in pieces. Six, in stitches. Six, another trip to the ER. If they ask me how I got these scars, I will only answer them with a smile. I hope this breaking son's disease ain't hereditary. Seven, when you're addicted to your father's approval like first high, you feel like dog chasing its tail. Seven, I don't remember walking, but I do remember the sound of eggshells always being under my feet. Seven, my cousins say that my dad is a father figure. Eight, Daddy, what does having a father figure feel like? Eight, Mommy, can I run away if I'm gone before the street lights come on? Nine, time. Nine, God's understanding that you were trying the best that you could. Never able to be one. Zero, everybody always forgets about the zero. Always put beside the perfect one to make them look like a perfect zero. Negative one, always behind you in your ear whispering you sweet nothing. Zero. Nine, how can you expect a whole entire whole? I mean, your father to give love if he's only been shown empty. Nine, Father, forgive me, I knew not. Nine, Daddy, let's share forgiveness this Christmas. Zero, Daddy, I'm missing your presence. Trying to find the number to heaven, like when my daddy, angels say that ain't how prayer work. So Daddy, I'm like, I love you, Daddy.
Show some love to the poet. I'm definitely going to slaughter your name again, so I don't want to do that. All right, let's see those scores, poets. Judges, drop those scores. I see one, I see two. All right, and three. All right, let's see how the judges came back from intermission. From low to high, we have a 9.4. We have a 9.6. We have a 10, and a 10. Show some love, giving the poet a final score of a 29.6. 29.6. Next up from the BDC, the Big Dream Collective, we have Lee. Show the poet some love. The mic is yours.
Hello?
Good to go.
The birth of our nation was preluded by the death of a king's dream. So are we judge, jury, or witness in this trial by combat where dark skin is always the guilty party? Close quarters conflict led to the clipping of our children's wings. Our beautiful black birds now Black Hawk down. We all cheered at the end of Saving Private Ryan, but I wonder, will the audience still sing of glory when it's Daquan who needs deliverance? I mean, ain't it funny how it's all quiet on the Western Front when it's a Western man holding the gun in his hands, but anybody with descendants from the East, Middle East, or East Atlanta get caught with anything that resembles the ratchet in their speed dialing M for murder. I mean, QAnon plans a presidential riot on the internet for months, and the FBI is as silent as the G in lasagna, but the Pasta Patrol is quick to pull up and handcuff a 14-year-old black boy in his front yard. The Americans are both allied and Axis powers that be wanting to keep us as enemies of the state, so they throw in drugs because every politician needs a good selling point, but who's signing all the deals to let the kilos into the ghetto? Last time I checked, Russians ain't got no connects with Southside Negroes, so how did we get strapped up with overseas arsenal? And why did y'all stand so idle when AR-15s march onto the state capitol, but move to triggers anytime a nigga just wanna breathe around you? It's almost like the police are training for the day they get to slay King Kong, but remember our titans. Brand our names on the buildings the same way you immortalize your Confederate compatriots, the cannibals who regurgitated my culture out to the rest of the world while our bodies still choke the back creeks and back roads and branches are breakneck the way that our ancestors used to sway to posts and sirens. Living in America feels more apocalypse now than Avengers. So Cold War in these capitalist streets that you need a full metal jacket to ensure you're renewed for the next season. Maybe Russell will go unhinged, become gladiator again, Spartan kicking black men down hellholes while Gerard creates a new definition for law-abiding citizen. And there's James, the 00 agent with a license to kill, who only flashes his badge after 7 bullet shells hit the ground. And how about John, whose wick is waiting for the right isolated incident to incinerate and eradicate? Watch how these Proud Boys all answer the call of duty when the target is identified as foreign, which is anything not like them. Because all the movies portray the white man with the power fantasy as the hero. Perhaps that's why Dylan Roof earned himself a Whopper and fries. Maybe they see him as a vigilante of white supremacy. The truth about our country is they will always uphold the most dangerous black as opposed to a benevolent white. And if you doubt that fact, ask yourself why dead black folk receive a background check, but mass murderers are still alive to give podcast interviews regarding their troubled past. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was Lee from the Big Dream Collective. All right, judges, you know what to do. Big Dream Collective, I feel like if you have a name like that, I feel like you guys definitely have an album cover to go with it. I want to know what your album cover looks like. All right, from low to high, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. From low to high, we have a 9.7. We have a 9.8. We have a 9.9, another 9.9, and a 10 for Lee from the Big Dream Collective. I feel like your album cover has like a Rolls Royce, and it's in front of a mansion. You guys just didn't want to tell me. I can see it. I see it. All right, giving Lee a total of a 29.6. 29.6. All right, next up, show some love for from Sandstorm. Show some love for Christine Jean Blaine.
Can y'all hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
I shadow dance with daydreams of loving you. Lay in lace and satin, turn to ocean at the thought of your hands. Make me a memory, like midnight velvet cloaked in crimson sky, and I'll become siren singing song of your coming till morning comes. Undone. Bend and break tempo till the rising sun bleeds halo across the horizon of your smile wrap, whispers around the wanting in my waist. And just stay a while. I'll make this apology for everything I have done to you in my sleep. Press palms against paradise and pray. My lips promise to keep the secret. Pray that somewhere deep, maybe you share this. Shit, pray that come daybreak, I find you reason to beg for your forgiveness. I never asked permission to imagine you tasting like sand and cinnamon. I never played cautiously with liberties, I just took them. I never had any intention of getting tangled in this web of temptation. You have me spinning like Oya dancing the whirlwind while riding Changol's bolt of lightning. Check it. Listen, I've come to this realization you will never be safe in my imagination, and my conscience can no longer allow me to pretend that I have any intention of just wanting to be your friend. So let this be my confession. Like head wrap in a G-string, I'm finding it hard to balance this contradiction. Can't look in your face while you are speaking because I'm afraid you might catch a glimpse of what I've been thinking. Like, how long would it take for you to make me forget that I'm naked? And if I place my heart in the palm of your hand, would you know what to do with it? And once we're done stretching, pressing, and slapping flesh, will you remember that love is always sacred? Because we both know the sound the heart makes as it's breaking, the whisper and whimper of logic stretched beyond legs. You never said you loved me. I just took your word for it anyway. Argued with silence till tongues grew tired of telling the truth to dreamers, and I've seen you tiptoe through time trying to turn yesterdays into tomorrows, but we can't borrow what doesn't exist. So before darkness becomes high noon and the sun kisses the sky in the absence of the moon for again, another last time, let me dream with you. Lay love like legs wrapped around the waistline of forever. I can still remember tasting myself in your tears. Untangle temptation hidden behind sealed lips so you can drown yourself deep within the softness of my forgiveness. And remember, I ain't never asked you to be gentle. Just needed you to be honest. But you never said you loved me. I just took your word for it. Anyway, thank you.
All right, poet, show Christine Jean Blaine some love. That's what it's about. We're all about showing the love. All right, we're virtual, but we got it. It's in our hearts. It's still there. All right, let's see what we have, judges. All right, I see one score. I see two scores, and 3 and 4 and 5. All right, from low to high, we have a 8.9. We have a 9.2. We have a 9.5. We have a 9.7 and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet. All right, and next up from Pirro Slam, we have Mecca Miles. Give it up for the poet. The mic is yours.
Can everyone hear me?
Good to go.
The apple speaks to the Almighty. It says, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and don't they call you Jehovah Rapha, the one who heals, the one who broke through the darkness to give life where once was void, filled the dust with consciousness and the will to survive, and here I sit,
The color of spilled blood after a mortal wound, one blossom amongst the multitude for you. Placed many seeds in this garden, willed us to grow, yet I alone was forbidden. The irises rose, the pear, the fig, the mandarin, all littered this world, and the beasts of the land ate and ate. They grew fatter and fatter, but never wiser, for I alone was given that gift and cursed me. All rosy-cheeked and ample bosom held both knowledge and nutrients, took hold of the sunlight, brought it forth and said, beast, let your eyes be open for the first time. See what secrets illumination can provide. Stay not rooted, but be free. I know but one form of alchemy, which is to take that which is alive and turn it into something living, something that sheds its skin like a snake. Is it any wonder that it was the serpent that led man to my sin? What better creature to guide someone to elevation than one who knows nothing more than solid earth and scrapes belly, a thing with nowhere left to go but up, and I, knowing only what it is to fall victim to gravity after once growing tall, we were the perfect pair to bring perception to your prized possession, and you scorned us both. Banish those that knew to cherish us. Their only offenses, curiosity and rebellion, but were you not curious as to what would happen when you mix soul and soil with free will? Did you not rebel against the darkness when you said, let there be lights, and were they not made in your image? Were we not all the makings of your hands, creations of your caprice? Did you think twice before giving free will and then demanding obsequity? How insecure must you be, O giver of paradise, conditionally?
All right, that was a Mecca Miles from Pirro Slam. Show some love. Virtual claps, virtual high fives, all of that. All right, judges, you know what to do. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. I know we got a leg start, but it's okay. We're gonna get out of here. Then we're gonna go show some love for the late bouts, because that's what we do when we do what we're doing, how we do it. All right. Judges, what say you? All right, I see one, I see two, I see three. All right, looking for judge number 2. All right, there we go. From low to high, we have an 8.8, an 8.9, another 8.9, a 9.0, and a 9.6. All right, giving a final score of a 26.8. Show some love for the poet. All right, next coming up from the Big Dream Collective. All right, guys. We have LB. Show some love. LB, the mic is yours.
Hello?
Good to go.
My very first breath was taken in the early hours of December the 1st. My very first word, according to my dad, was none other than hallelujah. And the very first thing that I could ever remember learning is simply that God is love. Now, my very first accident was biting a battery in half, and it's something about the way it shocks the breath out of you. Growing older, I still would have a taste for electricity, and I felt like I can control the current if I always stayed grounded. So my confident heart made me feel like I can do the improbable. Like the very first time that I told a girl that God is love. So baby, I God you. And y'all, she laughed. She laughed like a fist full of atheists, and that left a bruise on my confidence the size of my very first word, and it swallowed my breathing so bad that I couldn't verbally exhale the highest praises again for 2 years. This taught me that my emotions are asthmatic and how much like breathing love truly is. How fluid separation can be when words only float on air and there is no one around to sell your reason to stop sinking into your own silence. But even when I couldn't speak, God taught me to just wave my hand because actions always spoke louder than words. Like when the very first girl told me that she loved me and meant it. It sounded like my very first hallelujah. Together we learned that our heartbeat is the instrumental to how true worship should feel. But when our music stopped, she danced around the pieces of my broken heart like David, removing every part of me until she was naked enough to find out that God is love, even when you are not loving. When she told me it was over, I found myself in silence again. And with no words to say, all I can do is remember. And I just waved my hand. Isn't it funny how a cry for God to save you and the goodbye can look exactly the same? How her name is Braille to me now. Every time it touches my tongue, I can still feel the Judas in her goodbye. How her name, it sounds a lot like 30 pieces of sulfur. Do you have any idea what it cost me to teach my heart to stop beating in the syllables of her name? Now I know what a goodbye feels like, fighting to get out of your chest. Now I know what it feels like to fight a goodbye out of your chest. It feels like a fight song. I love, you don't, backstab, fuck you, fight song, please stay, don't leave. No matter how bad being stabbed hurts you, it always hurts worse pulling your lover's sharpness out of your life. Cupid's arrow was never designed to be removed, especially when you love like breathing. You see, the problem with having asthmatic emotions is that you focus too much on trying to catch your breath when you should be learning to just let it go.
All right, that was LB from the Big Dream Collective. Shouts out to the judges for doing what you've been doing all night long, staying attentive, staying consistent. All right, let's see those scores in the chat. All right, I see 1, I see 2 and 3 and 4. All right, from low to high, we have a 9.4. We have a 9.8, a 9.8, a 9.9, and a 10 for the poet. Show some love. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, judges. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Next up from Sandstorm, we have Anais. Show some love. The mic is yours.
No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
A poem dedicated to the 3 Muslims who were murdered in Chapel Hill. Enough of this planet. I have had my fill. This ill vial of hate has filled me to the very brim, and grim are the days of this new age. All there is wariness and hate. What's there to debate? I mean, how do we even take this bait? This story of a man sorely offended by the occupation of his vehicle's parking space, who contemplated the time and space to holster his gun, walk up to the door, and bam, because what the heck makes sense anymore? It was the result of a parking space issue and not a hate crime, was the official line. And I'm thinking, doesn't the editing booth ever come up with a better lie? Or is this an offhanded admission of white immunity from the T word? You're quick to give the T word if the gun person grew a beard, wore a veil, or as of that year's apparent terror trend, a dental lab coat, but not to a person who had explicitly told them that he didn't like the way they looked. Ladies and gentlemen, is it me? Or did sanity turn senile over the generations? I mean, is it me? Or does common sense seem a little rationed? I mean, is it me? Or isn't this indeed the evidence that we are just another failed mutation? God, we are doomed as a species. Bring over the epidemics and hustle up the academics, because it's time to compromise our immune systems, because the fast food chain ain't killing us fast enough. And frankly, we've been giving each other pain and killing, and we're still killing time, but still haven't learned enough. Yes, these rhymes might sound like a little polemic, but trust me, a global pandemic might be just what we need to unite us as a species, at least in the same hospital beds. Yusur, Dia, and Razan, when we stroll through the gardens to pick the flowers, we tend to pick the best of them. You are anything but lost souls, the Muslims that donned the lab coat for the children of Syria, and the two sisters who wore the scarves. All three have ascended to stars and beyond. The world didn't deserve them anyway. I tell them Godspeed and see you soon, because I've had enough of this planet. Thank you.
All right, judges, that was a nest from Sandstorm. What say ye? And our last poet, LB from Big Dream Collective, he had a 29.5. That was a 29.5 for LB. All right, what do we say for Mr. Ness from Sandstorm? What say ye, judges? I appreciate you sticking in there with us. I see Keto got him a little snack. Nothing wrong with that. All right. From low to high, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.1, a 9.1, a 9.3, and a 9.7. All right, giving a total score of 27.5. Show some love for the poet. Next up from Pirro Slam, we have Georgie Lee. The mic is yours.
Can you hear me?
You are a bit quiet, but yes.
I was born a legacy of Marsha P. Johnson. In fact, when I dance, I move in the same way a flying brick does. Be day-old mascara and chipped nail polish, wearing eyeshadow just to sleep. I am the Vogue scene before a white woman got her hands on it, but like a virgin, America is obsessed with my sexual organs, classifies my love and orientation disturbance until 1973, a real material girl, offering electroshock treatment to cure me from myself. And even in 2021, I am still a walking museum exhibit, or a circus tour grocery shopping, or the shame of my family's family, when right outside, the world is all yes, contoured cheekbones and tongue clicks. Straight girl sees me and sees her click. Once a gay bestie, but never a gay son. A handbag in her friendship fashion show, strutting a cut crease cut out of a drag queen. Wants to quote Bianca Del Rio, but doesn't really care to know who she is. Well, not today, Satan, because you can't protest Chick-fil-A and then give tithes every Sunday, as if organized religion isn't the actual fucking issue, as if conversion therapy wasn't solely based on the words from inside of a cowhide's paradise. So may these bricks break barriers, and may these bricks break boundaries, shatter everything you've heard about us. Understand, I will 1000% beat your ass while my face is beat. Handle cargo short tempers with some motherfucking heels on. Better believe I've learned to defend myself in the land of the free and chained. We, an evolved species, are no longer listening to dead men, Tell us God has a dick ready to fuck us into a lake of fire? This poem can be found in the book of Revelation. Listen to me preach the gospel according to the reformed faggot, because it seems like religion always got something to say about gay men like me. Stoned gay men like me want to stick a spear in my side if I act a little too funny. Like my laugh couldn't be what hallelujah sounded like there aren't angels that wish they could shine so bright. And I pray for our protection in a world where the only safe space seems to be in a nightclub with a drink in our hand or in a thumbnail with a stranger in our arms. See, we are not only the rainbow, but always the pot of gold, always the promise of God, always the dancing brick.
All right, show some love for Georgie Lee from Pirro Slam. All right, judges, we're getting down there to the nitty gritty. All right, let's see. From low to high, we have, I see one score. I see two, I see three, I see four. All right, from low to high, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.7. We have a 9.8. We have a 9.9 and a 10. Show some love to the poet. All right, we have arrived. This will be our final poem for the night from Verbenders. That was a 29.4. 29.4 for Georgie Lee. All right, from Verbenders, we have a group piece. Show some love to the group.
In plain sight, taste the deception.
Feels like more paid leave.
Corruption right under your nose.
The sweet sound of cover-ups.
Police brutality. Make it make sense.
If seeing is believing, then protect and serve.
Looks like
blue mallets striking black nails.
Looks like
shoot first, ask questions later.
Looks like
everyone is legally blind to injustice. Tunnel vision so brightly blatant.
You should see the headlines.
They thought they saw a
gun.
They're scared for their lives. Never apologize, just say
hindsight is 20/20.
Administrative leave
and award to reward them.
Keeps the supremacy at eye level.
You get the visual. Shh.
The bite of a baton leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
Pepper spray leaves me salty.
A seasoned officer's first response is to grill the first black he sees.
Batter and fry.
Too much to swallow, too much to digest. The amount of racism this country's stomachs.
Some just eat it up.
Brutality with the flavor of corruption makes me lose my appetite,
but not my hunger for justice.
This fear has me pressed,
cold barrel shattering my temple,
while its warmth trickles down my pant leg, flesh scraped raw by hot asphalt.
Authority figures, abrasive tendencies,
peace tossed around the back of prison vans, hope gripped in illegal chokeholds.
I can't breathe.
7 bullets burnt in the back of reputations.
Resistance, insubordination.
But the way my protest hits,
bruises black and blue.
Privilege stinks
like racist breath. Unrest on simmer. If only we had a government.
Black on the back burner aimed at black back, even if innocent bats turn.
Smells like a setup.
A potpourri of politicians and public servants in these streets smoking fresh meat.
Stinks like cheap cologne covering up dead bodies.
The misrepresented evidence decomposes, punches pungent.
Smells like Skittles in the rain.
The aroma of fresh cut
riots. A cocktail of tear gas. Cop cars on fire.
Top down to the tires. And why they got that man held so tight for selling loose cigarettes?
Just wanted to be lit. Smell the bullshit.
I hear the final breath as the man gets choked out. How the color of skin screams so loud.
Shouting, gets lost in translation. Pain, ringing in our ears.
You hear rage and not our desperation. You say serve and protect.
I hear gunshots.
I hear hide or be dead when an innocent woman isn't safe in her own bed.
Being black is Russian roulette. Unrest while you rest.
With a bullet in every chamber, when he goes off, there's no longer a boom. Just a deafening silence in the room.
All right, that was our final poem of this particular bout from Verbenders with a group piece. Judges, you know what to do. Take this time out to shout out our bout manager, our scorekeepers, our timekeepers, all of our judges, all of our teams. Without you, we wouldn't have a competition. Thank you for still taking part of this virtual competition to give us something to look forward to until we meet again. All right, I see one score, 2 and 3. Let's see. Judge number 2, Keto, we're just looking for you. All right, from low to high. We have a 9.8. We have a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10, giving them a 30. Show some love to Verbenders. All right, we're gonna let our scorekeeper and our bout manager do what they do and come back and let us know what our final scores and placings are for the evening. Let's also show some love to our indie poet, Amanda. All right. Let's see. Did that. It's super weird because if I was at SoFri, the night would just be young, but I'm like super tired. If I was at SoFri for real, there would be no such thing as sleep. Yeah, feel free to show some love in the chat to the fellow poets. It's all love. Until we meet again. I love to see it. I love to see it. All the love in the chat. I think Verbenders, I think they may be throwing up gang signs. I can't say for sure. Oh, that was a heart sign. Sorry, it was just a heart sign. My bad. So I feel like Maddie G needs to get with the Big Dream Collective and they need to release a mixtape. I feel like that's what needs to happen. And I'm gonna jump on there too, just because I want to. All right. So this was like real SoFri. We be talking about like what bouts we going to next. So have y'all already like decided what bouts y'all going to and what y'all doing after this? What y'all getting into? Yeah, it was a badass bout and it's super weird like hosting because like I just gotta be all just like not say shit and like not like act like nothing was fire. Super weird. If we stay at the bed, yeah, I'm probably going to sleep too. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, of course, like at the end of the night, we go to sleep after we're done supporting everybody. because Ashley's definitely going to the haiku battle because she's not going to act like she doesn't have a whole arsenal of haikus. Yep, I did it. I called you out. I did. Y'all see her posting them, so I really didn't call you out. They're out there. They're out there. Right. Like, it's so weird when we can't even like hug on each other. It's just like, I remember my first SoFried in Tampa. Like, I thought I wasn't gonna be hugging people and stuff. You're right. All right. Sounds like we have some info.
All right. You want to share it, Dash?
Go ahead, have at it with your soft voice. You said,
Oh, I can speak louder. Okay.
I want you to announce it like that.
Okay. Once again, thank you to all the poets. Thank you to all the judges. Thank you to the timekeeper, the scorekeeper. Couldn't have done this without you. You guys did an amazing job. Now, without further ado, coming in at 4th place was Puro Sam with a 112.1. Clap it up, clap it up.
Appreciate you.
Coming in at 3rd place was Sandstorm with a total score of 114.3. Clap it up, clap it up. This was super, super tight. Coming in at 2nd place, or in 2nd place, was Verbenders with a score of 118. Coming in at 1st place, the Big Dreams Collective, or BDC, with a score of 118.5. Our individual poet of the night, Amanda, came in with a score of a 24.3. Once again, thank you all for how amazing you've been.
All right, guys. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thanks again, judges and all those that volunteered. Shouts out to the teams and thank you for all that you've done. Stick around to sign off.